Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build yourself an efficient mine. That way you can cut down on travel times and not worry so much about inventory management, along with getting to your locations faster when it comes to more niche ores like copper. So without further ado, let's investigate how you'd go about this. And of course, we're going to be doing some fancy palette work. This is my channel after all. Of course, you can cross out everything here if you only care about the efficiency, but I do recommend making it look pretty. First off, we're going to be using granite, since, that's pretty easy, terracotta, and bricks. This makes a nice factory-esque feel. You can see roughly what that would look like over there. Of course, not an exact copy, but similar vibes. Then we'll have the flooring, which is stone, andesite, gravel, and polished andesite. We'll be using the polished andesite in a grid, and then we'll have the other three blocks act as broken versions, as if a lot of footwork has happened here and the floor has worn down. For the ceiling, we'll be using some dripstone and its stalactites, and then polished andesite. That way we have a nice supported looking ceiling. Then either dig down or go into the side of a hill. We have some nice 1.17 Savannah generation, and this works perfectly for our situation. Dig a couple blocks into the wall, maybe about 13 or so, make the room about 7 blocks tall, and then we'll be able to go down. Of course, make sure to investigate the area doesn't skewer right through a lava pool, since, of course, 1.17 has way too much lava, so make sure your area is ready for this, because the last thing you want is to spend all this time on a fancy mine, only to not be able to use it or have to drain copious amounts of lava. Hence, this tutorial will be taking place in a different location because of that. With our decently sized room now in place, we want to segment it into 3 sections of 3, divided using andesite. And you can see, pretty easy to do that. Make the bottom block of your walls polished granite, and then bricks for the rest. Once you have that in, then start texturing your walls with random blocks of terracotta and other things. Of course, you might need to go through several iterations to get it right, but still, it will be an interesting wall to look at with some extra variants. From here, start creating a semi-checkerboard pattern. Leave some of the normal blocks in, which should be stone for the most part, and occasionally place in some grid pattern. If you want to, you can make it all grid pattern, but I don't really recommend that, since what we are going for is a beaten down floor, which means the grid should only be in some areas. That way, it looks more run down and like someone forgot to replace the tiles. Once you've established yourself a simple entrance, then your room should look something like this excluding the ceiling. Torches around, moody lighting, textured walls and floor, all nice and dandy. From here, we want to make a rather interesting ceiling type, where we're going to have supports going up using stairs, in order to support a ceiling that will have dripstone coming out of it. And then we'll likely repeat this several times for each layer in the world that we're going to mine in. In order to get a feeling for how this will look, I've already built this once before, which means we have this simple room right here. Of course, it's on a larger scale, but that doesn't destroy the fact that this is what we're going for. Supports going across, and yeah, this is what we want. You can see the stalactites are pretty long. Of course, they're going to be shorter in ours, but yeah, we're trying to go for this effect here. So if it looks something like that, then you did it right. Over here, we have all of the dripstone, and this means we have the ambience and a nice ceiling. You can see various blobs have been attached, with the points all coming down, which creates a very nice room. From here, you need to evaluate how much of this tutorial do you actually want to build, since building every part of it might get tiresome, and even from someone who has to make these weekly, that's a lot. So from here, what you want to do is evaluate. You need to know a couple of things. 1. Do you have access to the Nether, a Badlands, a Dripstone Caves, and mountains? If you have access to all of those, then you can cut down a lot of this. Essentially, if there's a Dripstone Caves around Y32 within render distance, go there or attach your mine to it. This is close enough. I'd recommend making a tunnel to there, which means I'd go to 32. Then, if you don't have any mountains, go to 16 or get an iron farm. For everyone's favorite blue stuff, then go to 0. Although 0 might be a very inconvenient place to mine, considering it's the exact matching point of stone and deep slate, which means your inventory will get cluttered quick. Well, this is exactly what this mine mitigates using a bubble elevator. If you don't have access to a Badlands or the Nether, then go to -16 for gold. And if you are not within a mountain, then you can go to -59 for diamonds. The reason why I say outside of a mountain is because the deep dark's presence. Note this applies to cherry groves and meadows, unless it's very small. Something like this is unlikely to cause issues, while something more grandiose like these meadows over here will probably cause issues for you. With this knowledge, evaluate what do you want to build and what do you not want to build. From here, you now want to dig yourself 4 pits, or 3 if you only plan to do one resource, likely diamond. For the first one, go to your first layer, which will likely be any of the first 3, so copper, iron, or lapis, and then go to your final layer, not your second one, unless you only have 2, which means oftentimes going straight to -59. The third one should be a widened version, or even the same as the second one, since this one's a pit downwards, this one's a bubble elevator upwards, same design. And then do the same thing, but 2x3 or larger, for -59. And this one will go straight to the bottom, and we'll use with boats, chest boats specifically, in order to toss them all the way back up for later sorting. Then, it's up to you if you want to decorate the walls since you won't see it often, but no shame in not texturing them since you're unlikely to see them that often. What I'd recommend is something like stone bricks, in the future tough bricks, and if you're deep enough, deep slate bricks in order to fit in with the environment. And this will likely take a lot of resources, which means only do it if you're really dedicated to having that nice pristine look. Otherwise, skip out on it. Once you have your pits completed, you can now see how this will work, and it's incredibly efficient. You can go down one of them in order to get the first layer. Of course, build another one of these nearby if you want to go to specific layers one at a time. And then say, oops, I wanted to go all the way down. Well, we can use the main pit, which goes all the way to the bottom. We have our player bubble elevator, a little bit of pushing back, just in case you don't want to actually go up, because the last thing you want is, oh, I need to go up instantly, and have to have a 20-minute commute in order to get back down. Of course, it's 20 seconds, but it's still funny to think of it that way. In order to use the boat one, what you have to do is nudge a boat into it. Of course, it'll get pressed to the ceiling if you place it too close, and that's perfectly fine. That's even what we want. Then interact with it, because you can do that using shift right click or crouching while holding left trigger. You can open this, fill it up with whatever you want, and then push it into this. The glow icons here will prevent the water from flowing all the way out, and while the boat goes to the surface, we can take our player elevator. Of course, this is one of the fastest ways to move vertically in Minecraft. Unless you want to use an elytra or something, I mean, go ahead and use that if you want, although that can be annoying. What do you know, our boat is here. Of course, producing a lot of noise, but still, if you're up here, it's a bit of a notification alarm in order to empty your items. So now we can take the stuff out, destroy the boat, and then redistribute it, which makes this incredibly efficient. And the final notes I have Make sure that each layer has something of use, say crafting tables and furnaces for each layer, and a minimal amount of decoration. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. In fact, I've even left most of this untextured, but make sure you have at least something going on. At least something that doesn't get in the way, such as basic flooring, since there's no reason why you'd be going up or down a block for the most part. Once you get yourself some basic items to each area, which include crafting tables, some basic storage, and then furnaces, this build is complete. On each layer, we have a very simplistic, not particularly artistic design. And the important thing is, you have a crafting table, a couple furnaces, and a chest in order to craft yourself chest boats. That way you can keep sending them up in case you forget to bring them back down. Of course, the bottom layer is the same thing, and then you should be able to go mining just about any direction, and then go back, easy resource going up, and then you can continue mining, making this a much more effective option for people who need a lot of resources, since you can easily send it back up for later storage. And not to mention, even comes in with a free notification system in the form of an incredibly loud splashing. So, another nice perk to building this form of efficient mining. And with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. And remember, if you're watching this when it comes out, next week is the 12 days of Gearsaw, where I have daily uploads for the next 12 weeks. Yes, that is 3 months of content. Yes, it's completely free. And, it's all winter based. That way you can have a nice holidays knowing how to build everything. Either way, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw out.